First Alert Station.
Tonight, new warnings to phone companies suspected of allowing millions of illegal robocalls to people here in Wisconsin, and your complaints can help stop those scam calls. Tammy Elliott breaks it down in this First Alert from the Consumer Department.
Your complaints can lead to action to help stop illegal robocalls like this.
I'm from Medicare. We're sending out the new cards, and I need to confirm your billing information to keep your coverage active. For your protection, I need the last 4 numbers of your Social Security number. We need this urgently, or else you'll be charged a fee.
The Wisconsin Attorney General is warning phone companies suspected of allowing millions of illegal robocalls in Wisconsin. Those scam calls include government imposter calls like IRS, Social Security, Medicare, auto warranty, utility, and tech support scams. Amazon, Apple, DirecTV imposters, the list goes on. An investigation shows spoofing phone numbers and violations of the Do Not Call list. Josh Call is among 51 state attorneys general in an anti-robocall multi-state task force. And this week they shared findings of an FCC investigation tracing millions of suspected illegal calls. The task force sent warning letters to 4 phone companies, KWK Communications in Las Vegas, Inbound out of New Jersey, AKA Management in Wyoming, and CallVox in New York. Wisconsin Attorney General Call saying, quote, those companies must ensure that they're taking the steps necessary to stop consumers from receiving a large volume of illegal robocalls. Some ways that you can protect yourself: don't pick up, don't press 1. If that call says press a number to stop the calls or to provide more details, never give your personal details. Also, sign up for the Do Not Call list and report those scam and robocalls to the Wisconsin Consumer Protection. This information can help trace patterns of possible illegal calls and take action. Tammy Elliott, Action 2 News.